welcome. It's the first IgluMusic, like cut off shot. That's the first IgluMusic podcast of the year. I'm Simon Johnson. I've got my good friend and host over in Germany there. That's Al Stalio. Say hi, Wayne.
Yo, welcome. It's good to be here. It's good to be back.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, actually, it's really good to be. Don't you think it's really, really good to be back? Actually, it's been a hot minute, man. It has been a hot minute. I can't even remember last time, but we've had some good people on. Today, I can't believe how happy I am. I've been a fan of this guy for so long, and he's released an amazing body of work that I just had to get him on the show to talk about. So today, we are joined by the amazing multi-instrumentalist from Birmingham, recently voted, I'm going to get all of it in actually, recently voted best solo male for Brum Radio, and I'm just delighted to have him on the show. Welcome, Ashley Allen.
Yes, thank you guys. It's great to be here, man. It's a blessing to be here. Yes. Hands up, hands in the air, man.
Yeah, hands in the air like you're okay.
Yes.
For people who won't know at home, we basically got, I know Ashley's a multi-instrumentalist, but we've got three keys players here, Al Stalio and myself, and obviously the daddy of all of them, Mr. Ashley Allen. We've got you here on the show. I can't believe it.
Too kind.
First I'm going to tell you where I first came across you, Ashley. So the first time I saw you, I was at the Night Owl, and I believe you was either playing at Neighborhood or you may have been playing for Sanity, Lady Sanity.
Yeah. Could have been Sanity.
You may have been for Sanity. You might have been for Sanity.
I know we did a gig for Iglu. I know Sanity did a gig and I was there. And yeah, she played a track that I produced called Bullseye with a friend of mine. And yeah. So yeah, it could have been.
Still got the footage of that, you know. So if you ever want, I've still got that footage. Amazing. Like,
yes.
But what I noticed straight away is that you just had this natural gift. I want to distinguish that natural gift on keys, not trained.
Thank you.
And your musical instincts are just brilliant. I saw you improvise, I saw you work, and you just inspire me as a musician. So I'm just delighted to have you here. But what I want to do is I want to find out a little bit about where Ashley Allen's come from, what you've been doing. So I'm going to take you straight back. Yes. When did it all start? When did you first start playing an instrument or became really interested in music?
Yeah. So this all started when I was about maybe 5 or 6. Interestingly, I watched a Disney film called Aristocats. And in that film, it's centered around jazz music, interestingly. First, so even before that, actually, I should say I come from a musical family. So my dad's like a guitar virtuoso. My brother's an amazing jazz guitarist as well. Wow. But they was always playing around me when I was younger, but I was never really into music, really. But the first time that it really hit me again, I was watching this Disney film, Aristocats, and like there was a scene in there where they were literally playing like the piano and they were going through these different levels in the houses. Yeah. There was saxophones, all this type of stuff in there. And I was watching it, just like tranced by it all. And I was thinking, whatever that is, I don't know what genre it is, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I want to do that. And I remember I was 5 when I first watched that. And I was just like, and from since then, I've just been hooked on music. And then my dad, I pestered my dad to get me a keyboard for a very long time. And then he said, okay, you know what, you want to play, you're interested. He got me like my first keyboard at the age of 8, started my kind of classical piano lessons. And then, man, it's been a long journey, but that's like the first beginnings of it all, man.
So would you say that you took a what I would call a proper way in, like, so when your dad committed to say, okay, then you're going to do this, you're going to do it right by the sound of it?
Most definitely. Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Because my dad was just like, you know what? Again, if you're going to do music, man, you have to give it 100% because you can't necessarily just do it and be like, you know, half-hearted with it, man. So he got me classical piano lessons to start with. I'll be honest, I hated it. I did not like play classical piano at all. But you know, I stuck with it. Wasn't really enjoying music until about 13, 14. Then my dad was like, you know what, it would be great to kind of get you like some lessons for the style that you're into, because again, I've got like a church background, so I was always going to church, and there was so many like musicians around me in church that were playing amazingly, but I was never able to do that because I just played like classical, like really basic classical stuff, really. I wanted to play like what they were able to do. I always had the ear for music. That's one thing that I had. I was always able to kind of listen and pick things up like rapidly fast, really, really, really quickly. But I just never had like the chords, the flavor, none of that really, until my dad decided to get me kind of like some gospel lessons at the age of like 15, 16. And then from then till now, like that just shaped my whole sound and my whole style.
So what was that in terms of gospel lessons? Was that learning to play like keys in gospel lessons, or was
keyboard? Yeah, yes. So this is all just like straight keyboard, because I guess I like on the side of that I played a little bit of guitar, a little bit of bass as well, a little bit of drums and so forth. But the gospel lessons was just like centered towards the keyboard, because this is what I wanted to do, man. Yeah.
I did not know you could. Honestly, I did not know you could do that. And if I would have, that would have definitely been something I would have been interested in, man.
Yeah.
One of my earliest childhood memories of being in church. I mean, I was brought up in church as well. My dad's has been a Christian for a long, long time. So from the age of about, I'm going to say probably 5 or 6 again, I was probably in church.
Yeah.
We went from a very traditional, and I don't mean to diss anybody's church, but boring hymns. Mainly predominantly over 70s crowd, like they're dropping in the aisles.
I know the vibe, man. I know the vibe, man. People are sleeping.
They're dropping during the songs and that, and then we went to. There was a pastor who I guess he was inspired by the American churches, called Pastor Mike Price, I believe his name was. And he was a pastor down at Woodgate. It was at 4 Dwelling Schools in Quentin.
Okay,
Woodgate Church.
Nice.
And I remember going into this massive auditorium, I guess it was like the gymnasium or whatever it would have been. It seemed massive when you're so young. And there was hundreds of people in there. It seemed, I've never seen an American church, but obviously now I have. So it reminds me of these super churches.
Yeah, super churches. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But then you look up on the stage and there was bass guitarists, 2 electric guitarists, there was 2 drummers, bro.
yeah.
Drummers.
I know.
2 keys, but it was like 2 bands on the stage and they're all on. And they made a sound that, again, when I heard that, that took me to a place that I've never been with before or since. I don't think that feeling, that energy, and a lot of why I wanted you on the show is because what I experienced that day is what I've seen from you. It's not just the fact that we're playing within a chord structure. It's the fact that I'm improvising and letting myself out in
of course. Yeah.
That's something I wanted to ask you about. Is that something that, I know jazz is predominantly like he's playing around and improvising and that. Is it hard to get that jazz feel from when you are for you to marry up now with somebody who's improvising and somebody else who's improvising and somebody else?
Yeah.
You find it hard to get that mold?
Sometimes I guess it kind of depends who you're playing with at first, but I just find like the more researched you are, the more honest you are about your music and your abilities and who you are, the more natural that feel's going to come, really. Because I think if you are too conscious and if you're really kind of like trying to sound like something, then oftentimes you're kind of blocking yourself from actually being able to do it, because you're kind of forcing yourself to be able to, to kind of adopt a style. But again, like it's just about honesty, man. It's difficult to kind of nail down. But if like, okay, so like my approach is that whenever I play, I just try and clear my mind, and like whatever comes out, because I've researched a lot. I've gone to uni, all of that stuff. I've done my studies. And there's actually a great quote by I think it was Charlie Parker, who said like learn the theory, then once you've learned the theory, just play. It's literally just that, because then you're going to be able to kind of, you know what I mean, because you're going to fall back on the knowledge that you already have, but then you're able to be free, you know what I'm saying, at like the same time. So that's really what it is for me, man. It's just trying to be like, the more I progress in music, the more open, the more free I want to be, the less kind of cerebral I want to be about things. I want to kind of allow my emotions to kind of come through. And I think like that's what you get a lot in church, because in church kind of scenarios, it's always about like serving other people and kind of getting rid of your own self almost, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like the musicians, for them, it's always about serving the congregation. So that natural process of themselves coming through is there. And I guess that kind of benefited me as well in many ways.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, man.
Is it true that once you learn jazz music, it's hard to go back to playing like, say,
100%.
Is it? I know a guy, he said to me, if you do one thing live, never learn jazz. Because once you play jazz, you'll never ever go back. And you'll keep transposing and phoning on in.
You don't have the freedom when you step out of jazz, because obviously everything's very structured then, isn't it? Like you kind
jazz.
No, I said outside jazz. I mean, like if you're
outside of jazz, yes,
so much freedom to express in the moment, even with timings within the moment.
Yeah.
When you've got a song and you've got to say if he's going to play a ballad now, there's not really much space. You can't start bossing off jazz. Well, you can, but to stay in line with somebody who's playing very not rigid, what's the word? Very vanilla, I guess I would say, within that. Very strict within that sort of time signature, very strict within that musical sound. I guess jazz gives you that freedom, which is why
it does. And that's why I said like kind of like 100, because what you experience with jazz is like it's almost like you kind of get the chance to put everything that you've learned into operation in the form of improvisation, because when you're improvising, it's just like it's like you're literally putting yourself into the music, really. So once you kind of get a taste of that, it's hard to kind of not want to improvise like at any chance you get. So it's difficult. But what I find to kind of counteract that is again just listening to as much styles, because I think the thing with jazz, like jazz is only as good as the current time that it's in, really. So for instance, if I'm playing like, okay, so like my jazz is kind of like, you know, not 1960s, 1950s, but still incorporating 2020 funk, soul, hip hop, all of that. And that's what jazz has always been. So even in like the 40s, jazz was about the current time for that. The 50s, you know, jazz was about the current time. So I find the way of kind of like counteracting the need to want to improvise is by literally going with the true essence of it, which is to listen to as much different styles, really, you know what I'm saying, and kind of like put it into your sound, really. But it's difficult because, again, like once you know about improvising, you're able to improvise. It's hard not to do it like any chance, man. But it's about discipline in many ways too.
Okay, well, I've got a question lined up after that, but that's a good point that you just made there.
Yeah, man.
Influences, who would you say, jazz or outside of jazz, who would you say are your influences in music?
Boy, many, man. Firstly, I'd have to say, outside of my family, because obviously my first influence is my dad and my brother, but outside of them, I got to go with Robert Glasper. Like, he's a massive influence. Not so much because of his style, but more because of his philosophy in terms of blending traditional jazz with modern music. Hiatus Coyote, I'm massively influenced by them as well. If I go back further, huge fan of McCoy Tyner. He used to play in John Coltrane's quintet in the 60s. I was like the biggest McCoy Tyner like nerd when I was in university. I'd study him like religiously. Charlie Parker, Chet Baker as well. Just like all of those like original jazz legends, man, from the 40s, 50s, I'm heavily inspired by. And of course, even like the guys in my local city now as well, like that kind of infusing like old school jazz with modern sounds, like Delta Autumn, Antelope and so forth. I'm massively inspired by them too.
We are quite blessed, you know, with jazz artists. I mean, even in the region, I mean, I feel like jazz is I guess it's always been niche, because I think jazz has always been the Marmite of music, if you will. You either love it or you hate it. And true. I think sometimes there's jazz crossovers where people can be happy to, you know, people can like something which has got slight infusions of jazz in it, but to actually take the undiluted, you know, well, obviously jazz is a broad sort of genre, but I mean, in general, any, you know, jazz as its whole can be very interpretive and it can be very all over the place. And I think it just depends on how you interpret music. And I think what is good about being an artist is that we can, you know, and it's not to be disrespectful to anybody, unless you have just a great ear, is that we can break down music in different ways. And again, the beauty of jazz, I would suggest, is that even though we can do that, the random nature of jazz and the improvisation and doesn't allow you, you know, you can still get caught out. You can still like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I love that.
Definitely.
I've got a tendency to chat a lot. So what I wanted to do before I get carried on, I wanted to get the first track on. Cool. So this is the title. I'm going to let you tell us a bit about the title track, if you don't mind. And
of course, man. This song is Sublime. So this one, I had to get my friend Taju Lasano on this one, an amazing rapper. The theme behind the song is just about love, really. That's kind of the theme, but just love in many aspects. Love in relationship aspects. Love in the sense of like family aspects, and kind of love just being like the pinnacle of all things in life, really. So that's kind of like the theme behind it.
And how did it come about? Were you working with Taji? Was that something that you just asked him off the cuff just to do? Or
you know what it was? It's like because me and Taji, we would always see each other at like different events and so forth, and we'd always say, you know what, we need to work together, we need to collab. And then eventually, like, I had a gig at the Jam House, and I just thought, you know what, this will be the perfect time actually to get Taju on something. And I said to him, you know what, like, although we don't necessarily have a song yet, I'm going to put some chords together and just come up with a rap basically for it. And he came up with a rap. I gave him kind of like the theme around the chords and so forth, which was the love thing that I'm speaking about. And then we did the song live. And then when we did the song live, we were like, you know what, this is really good, man. We need to kind of like structure this properly now. And then, and then we went into the studio about a year after that gig and recorded it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And that's...
Well, before I do put this on, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Charge You, because he's one of the hardest working guys in the scene, and he's so young and dedicated to his art.
Yes.
What the biggest shout out I want to give to Taju, I would say that Taju is the jazzman of rap.
Oh, 100%. Man.
Really, he's not ashamed to go there. He's not ashamed to improvise. He'll freestyle. He can dance. He can do so much things. He's so versatile, and his trajectory is like this. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to go a long way. Let's get this back on then. Sublime by Ashley Allen featuring Taju Lozano.
Yes.
I don't give to receive. I see the loved ones and they plant the seeds. Get mad and blame us when they turn to weeds. Watch them come back again. A moral compass will direct you to compromise. As young men, we hold our pride at time, but don't think too deep. Cause love doesn't come from the mind. My brothers and my sisters, they don't speak to me. That's what Pop says, but he don't blame them. Love from afar. When the babies need us, we will claim them. Cause that's what family does. Sometimes we choose our family trust. Living a full life, giving ourselves. Just make sure you don't love yourself less.
Let's be love sublime.
Let's be love sublime.
Giving of yourself, sacrificing your time. Some travel the world and never seem to find everything that's deep inside.
Stress, my head is pedaling. Medals don't press my chest, but I'm veteran. Keep giving, they look and take deep living. I could raise stakes, walk away, talk my pain, but I just take a breath. Inhale, give love like mum feeds the people. Miley said he was rich in them. Half the test is moving too quick for them. Yeah, we just give love, love, love. Give the giving is given again. No limits. Be in the mirror of Clark Kent. Compassion is holy, I can't comprehend. 100% learn more from lessons. These days daughters are fighting men. These days we are just the same. We just keep seeing more in the frame. We're dreams.
Be love sublime. Giving of yourself, sacrificing your time.
That was nice. That was really nice, man.
That was the first song. You're still muted, my brother.
That's like a Michael. It would be like Michael Jackson, man. Remind me of us, like.
Oh, thank you, man.
You know what?
Big praise.
Bit of Michael Jackson. What was it? Shack Attack. What are they called?
Dude, I don't know what you're on about, man.
You know, Shack Attack.
Shack Attack. That was. She's only 30, you know. Not an old, but listen, that there, bro. Like that's the first time that I've done my IgluMusic podcast where I've closed my eyes when I was listening to the music.
Oh, thank you.
First time.
Thank you, man.
That was sublime, bro. I can't even tell you how that feels.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's quite a special track to me, man. And yeah, man, just big up to all the musicians that made it happen, man. Jason McDougall was singing the chorus on that as well. Forgot to mention Jason's on that. All the musicians, Louis Spencer, Jamal Augustine, Nathan Green was on drums as well for that one. My brothers, man. So yeah. No
way, that is awesome. I mean, great musicians as well. I'm blessed to know these people as well. So I know these guys. I know what kind of level we're talking at. Alstali, are you ready? We've got something here that I just wanted to share with Ashley because, like I say, you've done a lot of work with the musicians, everything like that in Brum and around the place. So what I wanted to do, I set out just having a word with a few of these guys today.
Oh wow!
They've just left a little message. Yeah.
Wow, man, wow.
Okay, let me see. Can you hear this?
Can't hear anything.
A little bit.
Wait.
Dude, can't hear anything, man. Come on.
1 second, please.
We're going to get the editor out again.
1 moment, please.
Ashley Allen is an incredible pianist and composer. I love his music. I love the ethos. I love the sound. He brings great musicians together across Birmingham. And it's so inspiring.
Wow.
Yes, what you're saying. It's Taji Lozano, straight from 0121. Just wanted to say a couple of words about my boy Ashley Allen. I've been in this music scene actively for about 3 years now, and I met Ashley around the time that I started. And from then to now, I had the warmest introduction, which was on stage with Ashley while he was playing, and from then to now, we've just had a mad connection. And keeping that connection and nurturing that friendship led us to, doing work together. We've got a couple things in the works now, but I was more than honored when Ashley asked me to be on the title track of his debut, of his new album. And honestly, I can't be more in gratitude to Ashley for his encouragement, his support, and his belief in what I do. Honestly, my man's just like, he is a voice of our generation, and honestly, one of the top tier musicians from our city. And honestly, I do whatever I can to give my man his flowers while he's here, because honestly, he is such a poignant figure in our community, and I just wish him all the best. And I'm so proud of him for, recently getting signed to a label that I have no doubt are going to do nothing but accommodate his vision, you know what I mean? So can't wait to get back to work with you, bro, and always love. Peace.
It's emotional, man. It's emotional.
Boy, Allen, what can I say, man? What an amazing guy. Inside and out, over my years, I've dealt with a lot of musicians. We've got some talented guys, but they're just so boasting, man. And this guy, Ashley Allen, just cool, calm and collective. Kind of like a Barry White type of style, yeah. But yeah, man, lovely guy, talented. And he's just cool and collective, man. That's what I love about him. So keep up the good work, Ash. It's been amazing to be on the journey with you, and looking forward to what we're gonna achieve in the future, man. God bless, man. Stay blessed, stay true to the cause, bro. One love.
Yeah, it's Ashley Allen, man. Yeah, like I said this to him before, but I'm just gonna keep saying it. But yeah, man, I literally wouldn't be the person or the musician that I am without his help today. Like, he took me on when I was at such a lower level of my playing, and he gave me opportunity after opportunity to improve myself and get better. And he's done the same for so many other people as well. And he continues to inspire people throughout the city and throughout the country and possibly throughout the world, even with all his music out now. So yeah, man, keep killing it, bro.
Hey, it's Call Me Unique, and my thoughts on Ashley Allen. My word, every single time I'm on stage with him, he just tops the last time I was even more impressed with him than the last time that I was impressed with him. And he is a super incredible, amazing virtuoso. I can't wait for the other tracks and releases that he's got soon. And we're all just in awe of his presence. He's just awesome. He's just awesome.
Yes. That's it.
A few words, bro. And
wow, man. Wow.
I wanted to do that because I've talked, what I tend to do when I speak to anybody. I mean, I've been fortunate to obviously meet you before, but never really have the chance to really talk in depth. And I've been following your work for a long time, but I've always been aware of what you've done with other musicians and the fact that you work with a lot of other musicians. And, you know, people probably won't know this from the very calm and collected way that you are and just how humble you are. But I know you're a man of God as well. And I know that, you're a man of faith. And I think you've done really well to stay so grounded. But if we look at some of the things that you've done in terms of like your career, I mean, you could probably go over a few of them, but I mean, like, we'll talk about you being signed in a minute, but you've played on stage with the likes of Gregory Porter. You've played on stage with Dionne Warwick. You've obviously played regularly with people like Lady Sanity. You've played tell us about some of the amazing gigs you've played, or the people that you've worked with.
Wow. Well, firstly, I'd like to just thank everyone that's put the messages to me, man. Like, it's just super emotional, but yeah, man, love all of those guys, man. But yeah, in terms of stages and gigs, wow, yeah, it's been a very long journey, man. I've played at the NIA Arena. I think I did that when I was like 21. Did the Multipoint Arena. Of course, obviously, Lady Sanity, that led me to do the Commonwealth Games as well. Did tours with a great American artist called Julie Dexter. Like, every time she comes to the UK, I usually tour with her as well around the UK. She's amazing in the jazz scene. Omar as well. I've did some stuff with him too. Yeah, just kind of been taken up by Jamie Cullen as well. So he wants me to be a part of his recommending series via Jazz Lines, which is great news as well. And yeah, lots of others, man. It's difficult to kind of think of now.
You're not going to mention it, bro. Man. You're not going to make me pull it out the hat. You're not going to Jamie Cullen's how are we going to describe what Jamie Cullen said to you? Are you going to you're not going to bring that up?
Yeah, man. Wow. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I guess he's kind of build me as one of the next great jazz pianists to come out of the UK, which is a great honor to have, to be fair. And
Jamie Cullen.
Yeah, I know.
An amazing jazz pianist. Like, he just makes playing easy. But that's what I would say about you. I've watched you play, and it just looks effortless. And as somebody who plays keys, I know it's not like that. It's not effortless. It's a difficult thing to do, but I guess it depends on how you relate with the music and how entwined you are with the music. Like, I don't know as I got older, I stopped worrying about if I hit a bum note. I stopped worrying because likewise. I know as soon as I stop or worry about it, then it's noticeable for everybody. 100. If you carry on playing, nobody even knows it happened. And it took a lot of stress away in the way I was playing.
Of course. Just keep going, man. That's the ethos behind that, definitely.
And everything sounds, you can play a bum note, but you can kind of make it blend in somehow, like that's what jazz is, isn't it?
Yeah, jazz kind of it is
blending everything in. Yeah. So actually, if you think about it, with jazz is simplifying in a way.
Yes.
It's simplifying the way you play. You can play with less notes. Like, if you look at the blues, blues is not jazz, but if you look at the blues scale, you play less notes than the normal scale. You know what I mean? So it's
you do, man. Yeah.
I agree. What the fillings are, isn't it? It's almost like what you put in between. And what I love 100. About jazz, it can be so sparse or it can be so dense. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of what you're putting out, it can be so, like I say, that's what I love about music anyway. If we were talking about a simple time signature, you can still choose how to fill out those bars and everything. And what I love about jazz is you can play around with that so much, and the interesting sound. I don't have that skill to work in different time signatures to be able to flip from one to the other and that. But
this is what it is, man. 100. Yeah, this is definitely what it is with jazz. I think with jazz, it's like it's also the philosophy that less is more as well. Because I think like the best jazz pieces are like the songs where you would literally hear like maybe one chord like per 8 bars or something like that, you know, because it gives you the time to kind of reflect as well. And again, like I know before we mentioned about freedom, and this is what jazz gives you, man. It gives you the freedom, really. You know, you don't want to be kind of stuck to like specific time signatures, especially when you're like composing your own jazz pieces, because the idea is that you're lucid, man. You're just completely free about it, and that's why time signatures are just kind of present, but they're not an issue. So, you know, like for instance, you could hear a song that's probably in 9/8, but you wouldn't even think that it's in 9/8 when you listen to it, because it just feels so natural. You're not even thinking about the time signature. Exactly. However, if it's like a classical piece or maybe something like folk, you're going to hear the metric 9 thing a little bit more, you know what I mean, than you are with jazz. So it's all about being free, man, with jazz music. So yeah.
A good example of that is like Autumn Leaves. I'm sure you know Autumn Leaves.
Yeah.
How basic this song is, but it just sounds great. You're like, what?
Beautiful.
Look how simple
the melody.
And it gives you so much space to play with, and you can just play anything around it because it's so simple.
So true.
So yeah, man.
All right, so you got a couple of things up on the wall there. I've been meaning to ask you about. There's a couple shining up in the background. Tell me a bit about those things, please.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's like one of them is like an award from my family, my wife's mum, my mother-in-law, I should say. Yeah, she kind of sent me like a plaque to say congratulations on all of your you know, musical achievements. And the other one is something that I've received from an awarding body for my album Sublime and Dreaming as well. So I've got that there too. Other things are kind of like from, you know, Male of the Year and so forth. I've got my Commonwealth stuff up there as well. It's kind of like memorabilia. Got my.
How was that experience being in the Gold Coast and doing that?
Amazing. Over there? How long do we have, man? How long do we?
I could imagine to go over there, but I mean, I watched it. The thing is that it's a really awkward time for me when I'd only just started speaking to Sanity. I'm going to say a month before she went out to the Commonwealth Games. Yeah. So you can imagine when she came back, everybody was on her. She was all
celebrity.
People who I mean, I'm not saying people are fake because there's people who've been around her, but there was a lot of stragglers who were trying to jump on. 100%,
man.
100%. And I was just genuinely really interested in the music, but the problem that I had is I'd only just discovered her.
Exactly. So how do you tell the difference?
About the way I wrote Sanity, I'm a fan. I don't want nothing, but I'm a fan. So it was a really, really good time. I mean, I spoke to Sanity I think it was just by text, I think just yesterday or something like that. But she's an amazing, amazing artist. And
she is.
We're truly blessed.
Her praises all day, man. And I'm really grateful to her as well, man, because she decided to take the band with her to the Commonwealth Games. And a lot of people don't know actually that she didn't really have the she had the option to not take us, and it probably would have been easier in many ways for her just to kind of do it to a backing track, and obviously less cost effective as well on the team. But she really pushed for the band to come, man, and she said now she wants her people to come out with her, man. So and that was kind of like a life-changing kind of thing for all of us as well, man, like to kind of just be out there. I mean, like every day was like the press, they were just around us kind of like taking pictures, asking you know, a bunch of questions. I mean, like there's pictures of us online going for like 420 quid like per picture for all of these different press sites, man. Interviews on like ITV, BBC were like regular as well for that.
Yeah,
crazy, man. Like we even had like a festival warm-up like gig as well, which was on the beach, and that was on a huge stage, like hundreds of people as well. And that was just like a last minute thing that they wanted us to do. We were getting stopped in the streets as well, man. Like, hey, we just saw you on the TV. It's just it was a crazy life. It was literally like living the life of a celebrity. Literally was that, man. So it was a mad experience, man. So much love to my sister for that one, man.
I'm just like, I'm still in awe of Lady Sanity, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Likewise.
It's not just the work. And I think this is the reason why I hold certain artists in high regard, and Taju and yourself are people I hold. And then obviously Taju's new to the scene, 3 years, but there's a reason why I speak to the artists that I do. It's not just about the music. I mean, there's a lot of good music out there, and
100.
to be honest, I could push this show. I could do 3 shows a day, showing just the amazing untapped potential and artists that are around, because we've done a lot of the scouting work. We know who the great artists are. Not all of them, I guess, but a lot of them. The thing is, though, when we want people to watch back, we want them to see the truth of, like,
we do.
I want them to connect with the fact that music means a lot to real musicians, not a means to an end. It's not a money-making scheme. If you wasn't to make a penny in your life, you're not going to not leave. You're not going to ignore those keyboards behind you and neglect them for the rest of the serve purpose. Music's within the heart, and I think that's what I want to get out to the people who are going to watch this. And the reason why I love Sanity, the reason why I love yourself, Unique, Taju, people like that, is because you live and breathe music, and it shows so much in the way that when you perform, in the way that you've got your relationships, in the way that we connect with you as an audience and that. And I just want to thank you so much for being here and letting us feel your energy, man.
Thank you, bro.
We're going to kick off your next song, which is called The Question.
Yes.
What can you tell me about this track?
Yeah, this is a bit of a deep one, man. Like, so I wrote this one as kind of like a response to, I wrote this in 2018. So there were a lot of kind of things occurring around that time racially, but really it's about trying to kind of evaluate the way that people, or change rather the way that people see the Black experience. So me being a Black male, trying to kind of challenge the perceptions of my experience, and change some of those perceptions from other cultures, and also from our culture as well, like kind of like inwardly and outwardly too. So it's just a song filled with a lot of questions, really, to hopefully spark change in the way that we see Black people and the way that we treat Black people as well. So
again, it's especially in these times, it's a song, I think, that would hopefully will connect. Well, I know it's got Francis. An amazing singer on it, Francis Mott.
Yes. Tell
us a little bit about him, because
man,
he's got an amazing voice, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, Francis is an amazing guy, man. He's known for doing a lot of stuff with Sweato Kinch. He's been in the scene, like working with a lot of London guys for quite a while as well, man. He's done some amazing things too, man. I'm sure he's had tours and gigged around kind of like vigorously around the scene, both in the UK and I'm sure abroad as well. But yeah, Francis, amazing singer for me. Definitely like probably top 10 singer for me in the UK, like period for me, man. Brilliant. In fact, the world, man, because you know what, the way I see Birmingham musicians, I don't put us underneath anyone else in the world, man. So I put Birmingham musicians up there with everyone else, man. So, you know, I'm not going to put someone that I don't know in my top 10 above someone that I do know that I think is just as good. So, you know, Francis for me is up there with the elites of the world, man. Amazing singer, amazing guy.
Well, before we get it on, what I love about this track is just the way his melody, and you, like I say, you wrote the lyrics to this.
I did indeed, yeah.
So did you do all the instrumentation in the background of this track?
So this is so basically I did, yeah. So I wrote, arranged all the instrumentation and told the musicians kind of what to play, really. I wrote it out. So yeah, so literally like all of my songs is me kind of writing all the different parts, and then getting in like a rehearsal room and then telling them what to play and so forth. But then same time they add their own interpretation as well.
Well, this is an amazing track. I hope you guys really enjoy it. It's called The Question, which is Ashley Allen featuring Francis Mott.
For so long, now it's time to right this wrong. What is freedom? They have judged us by our skin, haven't checked for what's within. What is freedom? Do you wear the master's clothes to their chains to find your woes? What is freedom? Always talking counter moves, always takes a lot to lose. What is freedom? Can you change current times if you're in denial? Would your life be worthwhile if you never smiled? Just as sure as you came, you'll leave in shame. If the question's too wide, leaves no reply. face the danger that's ahead. What is freedom? You want to alter our kinds, need to transform your mind. Highest freedom. Can you change current times if you're in denial? Would your life be worthwhile if you never smile? Just as sure as you came, you'll leave in shame. If the question's why leaves no reply, can you change current times if you're in denial? Would your life be worthwhile if you never smile? Just as sure as you came, you'll leave in shame. If the question's why leaves no reply.
That's like honey.
I like that one. Honey.
I'd start that again. Listen, you know, like I don't want to keep saying it because I sound like an idiot, but I'm just sometimes when I haven't done the most amount of these. I think we've done how many podcasts now? Probably about 6. We've probably had about 10 or 11 guests on. Yeah. This one I was looking forward to from start, and I didn't want to make it one of the first ones I did. I wanted to warm up to this because I knew that I like to think I'm a connoisseur of music, but I knew I was dealing with the Yoda of the piano and everything.
Too kind, man. Too kind.
How many instruments do you play, Ashley?
So yeah, the main is of course the keyboard, but I also do like the talk box as well. That's an instrument. Bass, not to an amazing standard, but I can certainly play little bit guitar as well, but mainly like all forms of synthesizers, organ, melodica as well. And yeah, man.
Can you play the organ with the foot pedals and everything?
Yeah. I can indeed, man. I can indeed.
Wow,
that's just crazy.
All rounder.
Sorry, just quickly. Can you slap on the bass?
Poorly, poorly, man. But it's something I'm going to work towards doing. No, definitely, man.
Right, you got time.
I can certainly keep the groove, certainly, man.
Yeah, man. Well, we're edging towards the end of the show. Just before we catch your socials and everything like that,
yeah,
how does it feel to listen? I mean, how many bodies of work have you released before in terms of music? Have you ever put out an album before?
Yeah, I put out an EP. It was a 6-track EP. That was in 2017, and that was kind of like a warm up, really, for I guess this album now, really, because the whole process behind that was kind of me saying to myself, well, you know what? Because again, I gigged for so many artists, tours, and all of that stuff. But I said to myself, you know what, could I actually kind of make a career of doing my own stuff? Because I've always been composing, always been kind of like writing my own music, but on the sly, never kind of like, published it or anything. So I said, you know what, let me just kind of try it and put something out there. And it was received very, very well, man. It was my first kind of attempt at kind of music, but it was received so well. And it served as like a catalyst, really, to kind of say to myself, you know what, this is where I need to improve on. And kind of like these areas are, kind of areas that I really kind of want to develop just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of really like led me towards this album and future projects as well, man. And even
the last thing I wanted to get on, you've done something amazing, and I'm guessing you're absolutely over the moon. You've signed a deal with an Italian label.
I have indeed, man.
Which happened what month? How long ago was this now?
This was in October. This was actually after my the single, because I dropped The Question, the last track that was just played. I dropped that in September, and that just had like a massive buzz, man, on like kind of like the soul and the jazz radio market. So it just literally got like kind of played around crazy. I mean, it went to like worldwide FM, I think, in like the second week. And like kind of like as a result of that, I was getting kind of like lots of messages and so forth from different people saying that they really enjoyed my music. And there was a guy actually who messaged me called Bob Hill, and he's kind of like an A&R guy, I guess, of sorts. But yeah, he deals with he has his own radio station too. And he messaged me and he said that he'd love to kind of like help promote my music a little bit more. And it was through Bob Hill that reached out to an amazing record company executive called Antonio Martino, who lives in Italy. I think it's Bari, Italy he lives in. And yeah, Antonio messaged me, said that he loved my music and he'd love to kind of like work together really and have me on his label and promote my music further. So I said, of course, let's kind of talk about it, chop it up. Went through the contracts, of course. I checked out the contracts in detail, and so yeah, of course you need to, you know what I mean. And everything was brilliant, man. And it's a great opportunity. So I'll be flying out there to Italy in March to start work on my second project, man.
That's fantastic.
And yeah, man. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Well, Ashley, I'm wishing you all the absolute best with everything that you've got coming up.
Thank you, man.
We're certainly going to follow your progress. We're going to share whatever we can and get behind you, as I'm sure literally everybody in Birmingham. I've had so many people asking me when this is going out. I was going to do it live, but I didn't think I was adequately prepared. So we'll be putting it out. It'll be available tomorrow, I guess, in Alstalio. You'll have to let me know.
Yeah, tomorrow, latest Wednesday.
Okay.
What day is Tuesday, Wednesday.
So it's going to be going out soon, but I'm absolutely delighted to get you on the show.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here
for myself. I'm sure for Alstalio as well. Before we do wrap up the show, can you tell me where people can find you, your socials, and what you got coming up?
Yeah, mainly Instagram. So if you just you can find me on, it's Ashley A Fantastic. So that's just my at. So Ashley A Fantastic, that's Instagram. Facebook, I think it's just Ashley Fantastic Allen on Facebook, or you can just type in Ashley Allen Piano on Google and you'll kind of see my Facebook on there. So it's mainly Instagram and Facebook. YouTube as well. I've got a YouTube account I've just set up, so you'll be seeing kind of like behind the scenes footage on there as well, in terms of my work towards my album. So there's that. And yeah, in terms of like things that are coming up, I'm really looking for this next project now. So my follow-up album, which will be after, hopefully, I'm hoping that this is going to be released at the end of this year. But we'll have to see with the whole coronavirus thing, of course. But we're hoping to kind of get things kickstarted in Italy in March and kind of work on it throughout the year, man. So that's the next thing to look forward to.
Coronavirus permitting, I hope that everything works out amazingly in Italy. Like I say, from myself and I guess from everyone in Birmingham, from we're just delighted to have you, and I hope that you come back on and speak to us soon when you let when you're doing your next your next show. Sorry,
literally anytime, man. Anytime.
It's been amazing. So yeah, Alstalio, thank you for hosting the show with me. Ashley, thanks for coming on. And,
thank you guys, man.
And we'll get this out as soon as possible.
Definitely, man. All the best, guys. You take care.
Take care, yeah.
You too, man. See you, man.
Play us out, Wayne.